What if the bombastic billionaire who bragged about the best healthcare plan ever on day one now punts his promised comprehensive overhaul like a fumbled football in the fourth quarter, leaving 24 million Americans staring down a subsidy cliff where premiums double or triple come January? All because his genius idea, handing out health savings accounts like casino chips so you can control your money from the insurance vampires sucking your veins dry, turns out to be as substantive as a sharper redrawn hurricane map. Imagine Donald J. Trump, the 79-year-old stable genius who couldn't repeal Obamacare despite 7 years and a GOP supermajority, reduced to a rambling relic whose power to the people pitch is just a roundabout way to funnel more cash to the very corporations he's fighting, all while Scott Bessent, the hedge fund hack who lost 90% of his investors' money while the S&P soared 167%, stammers on Meet the Press about healthcare coming down like a bad infomercial for snake oil, ignoring the 26% premium hikes and $124 billion subsidy sunset that will boot millions off coverage into a medical debt abyss deeper than his 6 bankruptcies. And here's the satirical sledgehammer that should send every MAGA minion into a meltdown of their own making. As Trump golfs through Thanksgiving with turkey prices up 40% and groceries 25% pricier than last year, blaming Biden's inflation, while his tariffs tax your tacos like luxury imports. The GOP's plan evaporates like his beautiful border wall, a napkin doodle of direct payments. That does nothing to dent the $6,000 annual marketplace sting for families already rationing ramen, proving once and for all that his affordability revolution is the ultimate con, a grifter's grift where choice means choosing between bankruptcy and begging, and the only thing coming down is his approval rating to a Fox News nadir of 39%, with independents fleeing by 41 points. America, this isn't healthcare reform. It's healthcare ransom, a prolonged plunder where the emperor's elastic economics snap, like brittle bones under the weight of his own contradictions, leaving a nation navigating the nightmare of a strong man who can't even replace a bad plan with anything better than a bad joke. Medicare for all? Now that's the real revolution he's terrified of, because sharing the wealth would shatter his swamp of subsidies for the swamp creatures he calls friends. The Thanksgiving turkey that perched on America's tables in late November 2025 wasn't just 40% pricier at wholesale than the year before. It was a grotesque garnish on the platter of Trump's affordability apocalypse, a bird bloated with bird flu blowback and tariff toxins that turned the holiday feast into a famine for families already filching from food banks at rates unseen since the Great Depression. Scott Bessent, that hapless hedge fund holdout whose Soros-sized blunders bled billions while the market minted fortunes, strutted on to Meet the Press like a peacock in a pauper's pond, preening about healthcare coming down and lowest cost Thanksgiving dinner in 4 years. Turkey down 16%. Down. The USDA's grim ledger laughed last. Wholesale at $1.32 per pound, a 40% leap from 94 cents. Retail forecasts at $2.05, 25% higher, Purdue economists prognosticated, with Butterball bundles at Walmart fetching $56 for 10 servings and Aldi's $40 spread a scrap for the starving. Bessent's bluster? A blizzard of bullshit, ignoring 25% grocery gouges since 2021, 3% year-over-year inflation spikes that sting like salt in a shutdown wound, and gas unmoved at $3.51 national average. California's $5.19 a pump of pain for the Golden State under the Golden Calves gaze. Prices starting to come down, he chirped, as if his 90% fund flop qualified him for clairvoyance. The S&P's 167% surge during his slump, a stark reminder that Bessent's genius is gravitational, pulling prosperity into the black hole of his balance sheet. But the real bird was the big announcement Bessent teased for the week, a comprehensive healthcare plan to give Americans control by funneling federal funds into health savings accounts, HSAs, letting you spend your money instead of insurance companies spending it for you. Spend it? On what? Co-pays or catastrophes? The napkin notion, scribbled and sharpened during a Mar-a-Lago mixer, evaporated like Trump's perfect phone calls. CNN reporting December 1st that the framework fizzled into fog. No rollout, no details, just a vague vow to extend ACA subsidies temporarily, with guardrails like income caps and mandatory premiums. A band-aid for the subsidy sunset that's set to boot $24.3 million from marketplace coverage come January. Premiums doubling or tripling for 9 and 10 subsidized souls per enroll. America's grim gospel. The CBO's crystal ball. 2 million more uninsured in 2026, a conservative count that conserves nothing for the carnage. $124 billion in 2024 subsidies, $35 billion enhanced alone. Vanishing like Vegas winnings, leaving a $6,000 annual sting for individual plans that already eclipse Medicaid's mercy. Families funneled from one fiscal fire to another under Biden's 2023 unwinding that purged $26 million from Medicaid rolls, two-thirds for red tape, not ineligibility, into ACA exchanges armored only by subsidies now stripped like a soldier's stripe. Satirical sting. The repeal and replace relic who couldn't replace a light bulb now replaces reform with a regurgitation. HSA's a hedge fund hack's hallucination where choice means choosing bankruptcy flavors, copay catastrophe, or emergency roulette, while Bessent's coming down chorus coos over 26% hikes that hammer the haves less. The S&P's soar a so what when your SNAP shrinks and Social Security sags under shutdown scars. Emotional eruption. This isn't economics. It's evisceration. Moms mutilating menus to afford meds. Elders eyeing empty pill bottles as premiums preen to plunder. The $500 monthly marketplace mordida, a mordant mockery of affordable care. 27 million uninsured, two-thirds cost crunched, cascading to catastrophe as medical debt drives 1 million bankruptcies yearly. Yale's ledger of loss. Vivid vignette. A Maryland matriarch, Medicaid marooned to marketplace maze, stares at $6,000 sticker shocks and subsidies, rationing insulin like a wartime ration card. Trump's control your money. A cruel cackle from a crony whose casinos cash checks on charity. The ACA's origin? A Republican relic, Heritage Foundation's 1989 brainchild adopted by Romney and Romneycare, mandating individual coverage to offload ER burdens on the undeserving poor, a windfall for insurers who lobbied lavishly for the law they later loathed when Obama owned it. Big Insurance's bonanza. Millions mandated to buy their product, subsidies sweetening the sell, administrative overhead at 13% versus Medicare's 3% efficiency engine. Trump's first-term fumble? 7 years of repeal rhetoric without replacement. McConnell's midnight massacre gutting mandate penalties, but leaving the skeleton standing. Biden's Build Back bolstering with $35 billion enhanced aid that enrolled 21.3 million. Record shatter. Until the 2023 unwinding unwound the wins. 26 million Medicaid marooned. Funneled to exchanges armored only by ephemeral enhancements now expiring like a bad lease. The shutdown standoff. Schumer's subsidy stand. 43 days of federal freeze frame over Obamacare oxygen. Democrats digging in for $35 billion lifeline extension against GOP gouging. Only to cave on a promise of December deliberation. A doggy bag of delay from the dogs who dangled repeal daggers annually since 2010. The promise? As binding as Trump's Mexico pays. A fig leaf for fiscal fiasco where subsidies sunset sans salvation. Premiums preening to plunder. $500 monthly mordida for individuals. $1,500 family fleecing. Per KFF's grim gospel. The 24.3 million marketplace marooned facing fiscal freefall. 9 out of 10 subsidized souls suddenly solvent shattered. Bessent's Band-Aid. Temporary extension with guardrails. Income irons and premium pricks. A palliative patch for the plague. Ignoring the incentive inversion where HSAs hatch higher costs, providers pricing like pirates in a portless port. The control your money? A conman's can't, funneling federal funds to for-profit fiends who finesse fees from the fearful, markets meant to extract, not extend. The risk pool's ripple reduced to a puddle where choice chokes the choiceless. The conservative caucus conundrum? Josh Gottheimer and Tom Swozzi's problem solvers. Corporate catspaws pocketing pack purses, pushing means-testing mirages, a middle finger to the middle class, preserving private plunder under populist paint. Primaries pending. Their perfidy apparel for the party. Progressives pounding the pavement for purity over pork. Medicare for all. The medicament, a monolithic mandate where the government's girth guts greed. 3% overhead inefficiency elixir versus privates, 13% leech. $500 to $600 billion annual savings per peer-reviewed panacea, per Perry and Lancet Ledger. Life expectancies leap, infant mortality dips, the developed world's dividend denied by denialists who decry socialism for sharing spoils, ignoring SNAP's salvation and Social Security's shield. Trump's plan? A postponement ploy, napkin nonsense nixed by nuance. The emperor's elastic economics snapping like brittle banisters under bailout burdens. Emotional elegy. Families fractured by fiscal fire. Moms mutilating meds for meals. Elders eyeing evictions as exchanges expire. Trump's choice, a chokehold on the choiceless. Vivid vignette. A Virginia vixen, voucher void. Views $1,500 family fleecing. Rationing relief like wartime wheat. Trump's control. A cruel cackle from crony casino. The rot ripples. Midterms mobilize masses. Democrats turn out torrent tyranny. Hypocrisy endures. Justice deferred devours defer.